had a rather creepy experience yesterday while reading the newspaper. Now, you know that it was a film clip, it was a video clip going round. It showed different news stations in different cities across the United States, and they were all saying the same thing. And they were saying it in such unison that the person who compiled the clips could actually layer one over the other. And they were all ending at the same time, and they were giving the same news in the same way and apparently voicing the same opinions, which were supposed to sound like off-the-cuff opinions. And the funny... the joke at the end was they all ended with the same, well, yeah, as I said, they were saying the same thing. They all ended by saying, and this is bad for democracy in America, or something along those lines. Well, I'm sure you all remember that. Well, I found a similar example here, which rather creeped me out. And it was when I saw this, the Evening Standard. And it says here, more than half of UK homes not meeting 2025 energy efficiency target. So, of course, I was quite shocked by that. More than half? That's terrible. Anyway, I read on. Let's just scroll down here. More than half of all rental homes in the UK. That's quite a difference, isn't it? Rental homes and homes. So this headline here is a lie. It's a lie, and it's a hysterical lie as well. And then I started to think a little bit about this illustrative photograph. What's it there for? It's got nothing to do with insulation. Okay, it shows someone either turning down or turning up a radiator now. Surely that should be more for an article about, well, manual controls on radiators to change the temperatures in different rooms or something. I mean, if you want to talk about insulation, then maybe you should be talking, showing pictures of, you know, windows with condensation on them, something along those lines. But so I find this a little bit odd. Yes, of course, it has to do tangentially with insulation, but it isn't actually about insulation. It's just a frightening thing. You see this not meeting energy efficiency target, and then you think, oh my God, I'm going to have to turn the radiator up. Can I afford it? Or something like that. Anyway, so I decided to look into the story, and I looked for the facts and figures on other sites. And here I found this in the, what's this? The Hereford Times. Half of UK homes do not meet, well, you can see it, 2025 energy efficiency target. And here you have somebody with a thermostat. And here you have that radiator photograph as well. So the same inaccurate headline and the same radiator picture. And here is the Herald, right? Let's see what their headline is. Surprise, surprise. Half of UK homes do not meet 2025 energy efficiency target. And there's that let's get it back here. There's that hand on the thermostat, and there's that radiator again. So what's the next one? The Shropshire Star. More than half of homes do not meet the 2025 energy efficiency target. And that radiator gets around, doesn't it? Granniopteryx here, reminding you that I am on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds, and the links are all in the description that accompany this video. I upload a video almost every day, and if you're not getting notifications, it might be worth your while to subscribe to my Twitter, Gab or Parler account, which will notify you of new uploads and other witticisms occasionally. Please click like, it's supposed to help with the algorithm. Please share the video and please subscribe. And if you are on YouTube, just check that subscription is still going, because I'm getting lots of complaints from people who say the subscription has unaccountably dropped. All right, that's it. Yeah, like, share and subscribe, and you can help me financially. Buy me a coffee or one of the other links. All the links are in the description. Right, back to the insulation. Well, but I hear you say, these are just small local papers. Now, let's face it, small local papers are simple little things. They don't have many journalists. They're only too grovellingly grateful for handouts from other news organisations, and they didn't have time to amend, to notice that that's an inaccurate headline and amend it. So, well, let's see, what about this? The Guardian. Well, there's the radiator, and more than half of homes do not meet 2025 energy efficiency targets. And let's go for another one. Here's the Independent. More than half of homes do not meet the 2025 energy efficiency target. Yep, that bloody radiator again. This isn't very independent, is it? There are more. I looked for more, and it raises a question. Why are all these papers publishing the same story with exactly the same hysterical lying headline? Now, I'm just going to go back to the Standard, because here the Standard tells you. First of all, it tells you that at the end of 2025, new government rules mean that any home rented out under a new contract needs to have a C rating of above, something called an EPC, which is an energy performance certificate. So you can't rent a house unless you have a C rating of, an EPC rating of C or above. And this data was compiled by Landtech, a property data platform. And I'd suggest that that might be a big business property data platform as well. So they gave this handout and nobody changed the heading. It's almost as if they wanted to convey a single message, isn't it? The only paper I found, there will be more, but when I found this I was so relieved. Landlords to be hit hard as more than half of rental homes fail insulation targets. So they are independent, and they are giving the news as it is, and they are talking about a serious problem here. It's what struck me first. It's all very well making fantastic laws showing how much you care and how much you don't want people to suffer in under-insulated houses. That's all very well, but not every landlord is a cigar-chomping, top-hatted, moustache-twirling, baby-eating aristocrat with a wad of £5 notes hanging out of his pocket. Most of the people I know who've been landlords are renting, for instance, their first buy, the flat they moved into when they first got married, or their mum's old place or something like that. Or in one case, a property the chap got, and it was a Victorian house on several floors, so he converted the flat downstairs and intended to rent the upper floor as a separate flat, and he told me that was his old age pension. Because the old age pension is, pretty meagre anyway. And the problem is, if the house was built before 1970, from an insulation point of view, you might as well just knock it down and start again. Because basically the walls aren't properly insulated, the windows will probably need changing to double glazing, and other laws keep changing. Now in Britain we have double glazing, in Germany they have triple glazing, and pretty soon they're going to be demanding that here as well. As I say, it's all very well telling people that you care about them so much, you're making laws that landlords can't put you up in a house that isn't properly insulated. But if the landlord has to, rebuild the walls and put in completely new windows, well, not many people can afford to do that. And there are other things. For instance, I'm working in the attic of this house here. This is the attic. It's just a storage area. It is cold. But I don't live here, and that's all right. But there are many people who actually converted the attic, so a bedroom for the kids or the parents or something, or a playroom, something along those lines. Well, in order to re-insulate that, you can't just lay down extra fiberglass in the floor. You'd have to take the tiles off to get a proper insulation job done. Now, this is a complete rebuild, and most people simply can't afford that. So what's going to happen? Well, small-time renters are going to sell their properties, if they can, because they couldn't afford to bring them up to scratch. There's just no way they could do it. So who is going to benefit from this? Well, big companies. Big companies set up to build for rent. They're going to have a storm of applications, aren't they? There's going to be a diminishing market, which will be dominated not by little old ladies who want to rent most of their house while they live in the kitchen. The market is going to shrink. It's going to shrink to vanishing point in the private sector. And, well, supply and demand. So there's going to be some people in very well insulated houses with very high rents. And there are going to be other people who won't be able to find anywhere to rent. Now, we can't risk putting people up in stables nowadays and offering them a manger for their newborn babies. That wouldn't comply with any EPCs, and it's quite risky anyway. The baby might grow up to start a new religion. So what are we going to do? What are renters going to do? What are people going to do who want to rent? I've had an idea. The government's taken over dozens, hundreds of hotels apparently to put illegal migrants in. Why don't they put all the renters up in that? Well, maybe this will prod them into getting the migrant situation sorted out, won't it? Okay. Till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.